Could this game be the end of The Sims? I just spent the past 2 days playing inZOI, and here's everything that you need to know. So what's different? Well, I'm sure as many of you have probably noticed, one of the main differences between inZOI and The Sims is the graphics of the games. While The Sims relies more on cartoonish characters, inZOI has, well, just gorgeous characters, honestly, that are pretty realistic. They're pretty similar to what you're going to see in something like a Rockstar game such as Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption. Or, honestly, as a Second Life resident, they really remind me of the characters that we see in that virtual world and others like it. When it comes to characters, the character creation itself has quite a few differences when it comes to inZOI. There are several options that you can use in The Sims, many of which coming from expansion packs and other add-ons to the game. inZOI has many options available in the base game at early access, and it has fantastic tools like AI pattern creation, so you can literally create whatever clothes you can think of with the AI image creator. And they have a 3D modeling option that allows you to take an item, say like your cat or any other item that you might want to add into your game, and add that into inZOI itself as a piece of jewelry or a piece of furniture. Literally pretty much anything that you want to make, you can make with that 3D creation, which is pretty cool. I do really enjoy that one. Much like the gallery in The Sims, inZOI has a library called Canvas where creators can make their items and put them up there for other people to put on their ZOIs. From what I've heard, there's also now a modding option, which as a simmer, we all know that mods are fantastic to have in your game and can add so much as far as character creation and gameplay. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes from that now that mods are added into inZOI. One huge difference that I noticed between The Sims and inZOI is the option to customize the world. Now, you can change everything from like billboards and trees and even the level of like grime in the city, which I think is pretty cool for those of us who like playing darker stories in The Sims. You could also change things like the density of animals. So you can have like a squirrel invasion if you want to, or just a few cute little furry friends running around the city. Lastly, for me, when it comes to differences, it really feels like a lot of the animations are much more fluid and more realistic to what a person would be doing in inZOI compared to some of the honestly kind of off the wall and bizarre ones that we have in The Sims. Now, don't get me wrong, I love how weird The Sims is. Like, oh my gosh. You cannot beat like people doing dishes in the bathroom or just random push-ups everywhere and all the nonsense that our Sims get into on a regular basis. But as far as inZOI, things just feel a lot more realistic. So it's great if you're wanting that realistic gameplay compared to the utter nonsense of The Sims. Now, when it comes to what's similar, the gameplay really has a lot of similarities between these two games. You have your needs that need to be met, just like in The Sims. You have life aspirations and something kind of similar to the simology of The Sims. So you have your personality types and all of that. It's very similar as far as the life of your characters in these games. inZOI, however, adds a karma system, which I think is really interesting because there are now real consequences to your actions, and you really have to think more about the type of person that you want your character to be. Interacting with the townies seems pretty similar in these two games. There are base dialogue options that you can use, and these will grow as you interact and build your relationship with people around the town. However, in inZOI, people seem a little different as far as the way that they respond to you when you interact with them. Of course, in The Sims, there's a lot of canned responses, and you get a lot of the same things from people with a little bit of personality differences, but everything is a little similar. In inZOI, I really did notice quite a bit of difference as far as like the different personalities of the people that you run into and interact with in the world. It doesn't quite seem like the inZOI townies have quite picked up on the fashion sense of many of The Sims townies either. Just like in The Sims, your ZOIs can go on dates, do things around the town, and even go to work. I did find that my ZOI's job got a little bit repetitive, But overall, it was an interesting new take compared to the few joinable careers that we have in The Sims. Okay, so what stands out really in inZOI compared to The Sims? For me, a pretty obvious standout here for inZOI is, of course, the graphics. As somebody who has been a lifelong simmer and a fan of virtual worlds like Second Life, I really love having an option where I can kind of combine the two into one. I'm really excited to see where things go with inZOI as they continue to develop the game and as modders kind of start working to add all kinds of interesting things and options into the game as well. So far, it's an absolutely gorgeous game with so many ways to customize your Zois and the world that they're living in. One negative standout for me, though, kind of similar to The Sims, honestly, is that there are a lot of placeholders in the world. There were many buildings like stores and restaurants that looked pretty cool, but didn't really do anything when you tried to interact with them. On the beach on Bliss Bay, for example, I was really excited to check out the Indian restaurant. It looked really cool. Unfortunately, once I got there, I found that there wasn't really anything I could do there. So I had to stick to keeping my Zoe fed with the hot dog and cotton candy carts. Hopefully, as the game continues to move forward, a lot more of those buildings will start to open up and offer things for our Zoids to do. But at this point, it just makes the world feel a little bit empty when you can walk past and look at things, but not really do anything with them. When you think of it, though, we didn't even get restaurants in The Sims until several expansion packs into things. And there are some restaurants in inZOI that you can not only interact with, but work at. So the pros of inZOI are, once again, it is a gorgeous game. It offers an open world experience with really only a couple of loading screens you have to deal with. They're part of the bus system that's really kind of like a fast travel system around the city, but you don't even have to use that if you don't want to. You can just walk around and explore things on your own and find your way around without having to use the bus system. But it does offer a great way to get back to your house if somebody drops off a present for you or something and you really want to get home to see it. Another pro for me is that it is a desperately needed addition to the life simulation genre. Don't get me wrong, I am a simmer through and through. I have been a simmer since day one. Like, literally. I was there to buy The Sims the day it came out, and I played it for like 48 hours straight, and then I missed like my college classes, and that was not a great idea. And please don't ever act like me and do that. But just to prove a point that, man, have I loved The Sims for a long time. Actually, I think I loved The Sims before they were even The Sims, because I used to love the old Super Nintendo. Oh my gosh, I'm really showing my age here, aren't I? I used to love the old Super Nintendo SimCity, and I used to leave it like on pause at my grandma's house and like just turn it over to the TV while I had to go to school and stuff. And I have been playing The Sims before it was even The Sims. So I am absolutely a fan of The Sims. But I'm also super happy to see all these really cool life simulation games like inZOI and Paralives popping up as other options. There's always going to be a place for The Sims, but I think that there's also room for plenty of other options too. So what are the cons of inZOI? There are actually a couple, unfortunately. Even though it offers the really cool AI and 3D printing options, I did find for those of us who like to create kind of darker, grittier, grimier, grungier alternative Sims, there really weren't that many options that kind of fit what I was looking for. Did I say Sims? I did say Sims, didn't I? Oh my gosh. See, I've been a simmer for way too long. So those of us who like creating the like grungier, more alternative characters, not the Mary Sues, not the pretty princesses, but we want our Sims, I did it again. We want our characters to look like they've kind of been through some stuff in life, you know? And there really just weren't that many options for those kind of characters. Now, I will say that with Canvas and modding, I'm sure that those options will show up. But as far as the first few days, not so much. Also, I do have to say that the world felt a little empty. Now, I know it is early access, and I know that things are going to grow and continue to develop from here. But for me, that was one thing that really kind of stood out as I was playing the game. It looked really cool, but there wasn't really that much to do. And I know that, you know, as a simmer, that creating your character's story is really the important part and really the fun. But there's only so much you can do to create a story when there's only so much you can do. That said, once again, I am sure that it will grow with time, and with modding, there's going to be so many really cool options really soon. I'm also sure that there are things that I didn't even find in my first few hours of playing. So is inZOI worth playing? In my opinion, absolutely. The graphics alone are enough of a draw for me. And I'm incredibly happy to have an alternative to The Sims to play with. I am definitely not in the camp of this is going to end The Sims, but I do think it's great to have other options. And I think that having these options is only going to help the life simulation genre to grow even more and make it better at the end of the day. I'm really looking forward to what's to come with inZOI and how the game's going to grow with all the feedback coming from those of us in the early access. So what do you think? Are you a diehard simmer that says absolutely not, or have you been checking out inZOI these past couple of days? What were your favorite parts of the game so far? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what your Zois have been getting up to. Thank you so much for hanging out and hearing my opinion on inZOI. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. Should we do an inZOI series? Like have a let's play? I don't know. Let me know. Leave a comment on that one too. And maybe we will. Maybe we'll do a challenge. Could we do like the berry challenge or maybe. Okay. Well, that's it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.